I don't know about all of you, but I suck at math. Ever since I was little, I've always been bad at math. I just couldn't memorize it like everyone else. They could be taught a lesson a day and remember it without their notes. Meanwhile, I take the notes down, I do the homework with help from friends, and I show up to school the next day and my mind's completely blank because I don't remember anything from the day before. I excel in English. I love reading books and typing and writing papers. I was able to put my own little twists on things when it came to that, and all my reading teachers loved me for it. A lot of people say you're either a math and a science kid or you're an English and history kid. Science wasn't my strong suit either. In 8th grade, I finally met my match of a teacher. She was nice, but if you didn't do your work, or if she knew you were struggling, then she'd call you to the board and make you work the problem out. Albeit, this is actually what helped me the best, but I didn't like the embarrassment I felt when I got called up, especially when someone would throw a wise-ass comment my way. I will find you in the parking lot and box your nose in. I didn't do well at all in her class for half the year. I didn't get the math, I forgot it the moment I left the class, and every time we had a quiz or a test, my anxiety would spike because I knew I'd get a horrible grade. I finally asked for more help, and when I did, and the teacher, we'll call her Miss Williams, finally got the way I learned, I had improved immensely. I got better grades, I volunteered to go to the board every day, and I actually got to vent to her about problems at home because I trusted her and enjoyed her company. She moved to the high school with me when I passed, and I never got her class, unfortunately, but I always went and visited her. Freshman year was alright. I was passing and everything until COVID cut the year up. Then I got into a horrible relationship that tore apart my mental health, and I couldn't even focus on studies in sophomore year. I was so happy when my junior year was deemed to be almost normal, and that we could sit in a class with no masks, and I would have a friend in there with me that I could talk to and help me if needed. This teacher broke me. We'll call her Miss Crock. She seemed nice at first and was nice throughout the whole year. She joked with us, wasn't strict at all, and usually didn't care if we were on our phones and not paying attention. This led to our class becoming rambunctious and a pain in the ass for people who learn like me. They were loud, delayed the subject, and it made it worse when games were brought into the subject. Trashketball. You solve a problem in your group, get it right, and then pick a person and they shoot the ball into the trash can. Seemed fine until all the popular kids, or all the kids that were loud, took the game too seriously, and when they got to the point they were yelling over not making the shot in, I let it slip under my breath by saying, "It's just a game." Then some kid who was a known jerk around the school turned and said, "Oh my God, bruh, don't cry about it." I wasn't upset, I wasn't even participating, but when you hear the same people every day screaming, making a big deal over everything, repeating the same jokes, making fun of other kids for not understanding the way the teacher teaches because she only tells you one way to do it regardless of whether you ask for help and you need it explained a different way, then it gets a bit infuriating. I just calmly told the kid that I just said it was just a game, and because he was popular in that class, that made the whole class turn against me, and even my friend told me to calm down, when I was calm. I wasn't screaming or cussing or making a big deal out of anything, so it hurt a bit that I just said one sentence, and so many people got so mad that I said it was just a game. It was supposed to be a math class, not whatever that was. The teacher didn't do anything to stop it, so I felt that my voice wouldn't have been heard no matter what I did. I go through the year, it's alright, but my grade isn't pleasant. I had to cheat on the majority of my tests and quizzes, thanks to my friend, but I knew that wouldn't suffice for the EOG. I decided, since I missed one test that I couldn't use my resources for, that I should take tutoring classes. It was the first time I did that ever in school, so it was different. I had another friend with me in that tutoring session before we had a fallout, so I felt comfortable enough because everyone I was ever friends with knew I had trouble with math. The teacher starts explaining everything slowly since we had time, and thankfully no over-the-top students in the class were there, and I actually felt like I could understand. I asked questions, got answers that made sense, and after a few more tutoring sessions, I felt confident in my ability and that I'd pass the test at least. I started the test, and I lost all my confidence. I had to call the teacher over to ask her what the questions meant, and when I understood what they meant, I pointed out that the questions had no logical answer, as in none of those answers were correct with what the question asked. I tried to make educated guesses, but even then, through half the test, I had to go back and write random answers down because I felt pressured from time, and I had no way of answering an illogical question. The math wasn't mathing, and I started to panic. I finished the test and turned it in. I come back the next day, she didn't grade my test. I go back the next day, I ask her if it's graded. She handed me the paper. I had excelled and passed with an 83, and I was so happy. I left the class, drove home to show my mom. She was ecstatic and proceeded to get me Bojangles, and on the way home we pulled into a corner store and she bought me a lottery ticket and I won $5. Just kidding! I failed with a 16. Miss Crock just looked so disappointed and said, "I don't want you to be discouraged because I know you are." Let's just leave it at that. I went to my car and it hit me and I broke down in the car with my boyfriend. I felt horrible and the teacher just gave up on me. She didn't even talk to me after that day and I never asked for her help again. I could have and probably was to blame because, it's my grade. But the way she sent me out and went about with her teaching, the class, and then her giving up on me and never speaking to me again, and her never correcting those students when they made fun of me, do you know how that affects a kid? Honestly, in this generation, I blame the parents who's raised their kids, but also the adults, like teachers, who don't bother disciplining them or stopping the trouble they cause when they see it. Instead, they tell you to ignore it and try to be the bigger person. Being the bigger person is normally used within either a dumb argument or a heated argument that it's time to get over. You are the bigger person if you start by saying, "Hey, I don't want to lose you as a friend. Let's talk this out, or just agree to disagree and put it behind us." Being the bigger person is not when people are constantly bullying you, fighting you, talking about you on social media in a trashy way, or anything like that. That is adults who are too sorry to step in and deal with a problem that isn't theirs and doesn't affect them. I personally feel like the teachers who have the favoritism trope contribute to this problem. I was a little apprehensive when it came to trigonometry in my senior year. At the time of writing this, I'm still in senior year and hoping to pass and graduate early in December. I doubt this video will be out by then. So far, I don't have a positive opinion on my teacher, as she too seems to have the "popular kids are my favorite" trait. Currently, I'm still having trouble in math, but hopefully I can overcome it and pass, and hopefully I'll be able to continue with this storytime animator career, because I really want this to work out. I hope y'all stick around, and thank you for the support so far. Also, I'm sick.